Peace, everyone. Welcome. Getting done with a little bit of a long shift, but heading home. It's always funny because the day before I go into work, we typically work 24-hour shifts. That's mostly how a lot of fire departments do it. I think big cities like New York and stuff like that, they break them into like 12-hour shifts. Some people, I think, get around that and do 24s and stuff, but getting ready for a 24-hour shift, it's a little bit of a mental process. You kind of gotta get yourself ready for being ready for whatever is going to happen in your zone and where you're scheduled to be at. And over time, you kind of get a system, you kind of get a routine. I kind of start with like getting my stuff ready for work, and it obviously starts the night before, so that whole 24-hour shift really starts 12 hours before you even get to work and stuff. And every time for all the years I've been doing this, you get to the end of it, and you're always like, oh, it really wasn't that bad. It was, went pretty quick, and yeah, we had, whatever amount of calls, and it's just a funny process how it's like a Groundhog Day. I get ready for it, kind of prepare myself mentally, thinking all this bad stuff is gonna happen, or we're gonna be just absolutely crazy and all stressed out and stuff. And so, of course, some days aren't like that, and even then you survive it, you get through it, and so it's just not that bad of an experience. But being at this point of the shift, it's big relief. You can feel like the stress kind of coming off a little bit and kind of diffusing a little bit on that way home. I have a little bit of a long drive, as you guys can probably tell through the length of my videos, but I like driving. Kind of just some alone time, and being able to enjoy it. Traffic at this time, especially today is Saturday, it's not typically too bad, so a little bit of an enjoyable drive. But I titled this one learning lessons, because there's a lot of lessons learned. And I always, like I tell you guys, I'm taking you on this journey with me, and kind of showing you the behind the scenes stuff. I think a lot of the stuff that we see online is just the pinnacle of making it and where we want to be, and only showing that side of it. And with this, of course, I do share that side, and I enjoy coaching, I enjoy speaking, obviously working on my products, excited for the day that they're going to be out, and helping people. But this is the other side of the coin. This is kind of the prequel to all of that next step stuff. Seeing it physically in this video, but it's all part of that journey. And even though I'm not there, I guess where I want to be, there's still a lot about today and how successful today is. Point in my life, a firefighter, and to do what I'm doing today. Today was a awesome shift, worked with really good people, and that was something that I dreamt about. So always thinking about that next step, and not taking time to appreciate this step. That's kind of like I've spoken of when we look back on life, and we're like just recounting how quickly it went by and how much we missed, how much we didn't enjoy the present moment. So today is absolutely a victory in my book. There's still room for improvement, and that's why talking about lessons learned or learning lessons, it's an ongoing process. It's something that, even though we might have learned that lesson, or something that I'm talking about today or in other videos, maybe there's another vantage point or a new aspect to it, or a deeper understanding on what's being shared that takes us to another level, a new level, a higher level. So today I was kind of reviewing a lot of the steps that we're taking, myself and my family, and we put this, plan together, and it felt like a really solid plan, and something that I just, in my mind, with the planning and the research and all that stuff that we put into it, the moves that we were looking to make seemed to be on really, really solid footing. And as we're getting into it, we're seeing that it's maybe not as solid as we might have thought. Where we thought there was solid ground, probably a little bit of quicksand, and we're learning how to get ourselves out of it. And the lessons that I'm learning is that as we take these moves in life, as solid as our plans might be, we need to consider, of course, that first option, that first opportunity, which, in my situation and what I'm working with right now, I put a lot of energy, a lot of time. I tried to cross all my T's, dot all my I's, and I truly felt like by doing that, I was putting my best foot forward, and I was not going to miss or fail or have any of these situations where I'm stepping on solid ground and then maybe stepping on a little bit of mud or quicksand or whatever you want to call it. And so the lesson is that even though we put these plans together, we put a lot of energy and focus and attention on our first option and our first opportunity, we have to still consider second and third opportunities. If at nothing else, prepare your mind for it. If there's something that you're doing and you're thinking, okay, I want to do this, and that actionable step, and it's going to lead to, this other one, again, a very thought out plan, something that you spend a lot of time piecing together. If your second option is nothing more than to just prepare yourself mentally to say, this may not work, or it may take more time than I'm anticipating. One of my own rules that I share with you guys is, when you give yourself a timeline on something, do it, like, let's say you think it's going to take, 30 days or a month. Take that time frame and multiply by 1.5 times, and that's going to be a lot closer to what the actual turnaround time or length of time that it's going to take to complete versus what our original assumption is. And that's just because there's things that we're not going to account for, and not even be able to account for, because a lot of times things are out of our control. And it's not a bad thing. When we sit there and we try to control absolutely every single thing that we do, it creates this false belief. We can try to manage, but when we become so rigid and fixated in that thinking, we don't allow ourselves to be flexible, right? We don't allow ourselves to adapt to different situations. And a perfect example of that is firefighting. I'm coming straight out of the firehouse and thinking about that stuff. So if we're thinking, all right, we're going into this scenario, or this type of patient is what we're running on, so it's going to be, or it has to be, this or that, and it's not, right? But we're so fixated, and we're just trying to prove to ourselves, get as creative as we possibly can to make it so that what we're dealing with is this or that. We can completely miss that it's something completely different, right? And at that point, it can become harmful or a hindrance to our ability to do our job effectively and well. So by being able to stay flexible, and especially as a firefighter, that's one of the most key characteristics, and one of the things that I've learned in my time being a firefighter is just that of being adaptable to your environment and to your situations. So with me being in this situation where, I thought things were going to go super smooth, and it was going to be this crazy streamless process. We were going to do this, and then it was going to fall right into that, and then just this, continuation of sequences. If I didn't have all this practice with frequent adaptation to different environments and different situations and opportunities, could be a little bit of a setback, but it's really just an opportunity for me to exercise these lessons and to remind myself, okay, you know, you had this really solid plan. You put a lot of time and energy into it. You know, on another circumstance or another situation, allow yourself to see that second and third opportunities. And you know, with this is something that, like I said, all that time and energy, it took a little bit of time. I reached out to one of my mentors, had a conversation, and you know, it was a little difficult at first to realize that I had done that I had put in all that energy on one thing, and I didn't allow myself to see, you know, a second or third opportunity. It was a little hard at first, but you know, like anything, it's gonna pass. You know, those emotions of kind of doing something wrong or incorrect or whatever, it's gonna pass. You know, and you're gonna see. And the goal, and what I've again shared with a lot of you in previous videos, is to pursue the truth. And when you're pursuing the truth, you're able to move quickly past that, right? So if you're in a situation where you know, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling, you know, let's say you're feeling down about yourself, you know, it's happened to me. You know, I'm feeling bad. I, you know, assume a position of leadership in my family, right? So when I put this together, I'm assuming the position of leadership. So I'm basically putting it on my back that if this thing fails, it's not my fiance's fault, it's not my daughter's fault, it's not my parents' fault, it's not my siblings' fault, it's not my, you know, my co-workers' fault. It's on me. You know, this is my plan, this is my doing. And so it's easy, and it happens where we can fall into that shaming of ourselves and making ourselves, you know, feel bad about not knowing or not doing it accurately or doing it correctly from the start. And you know, that doesn't do anything for us. So we got to move past that, and what I found is the quickest way to move past that is to pursue the truth. You know, because when you start shaming yourself and doing all that stuff, it's nothing but like a personal roast. You know, everybody in the audience, all the people sitting in those seats, it's just you. And then you're, you know, sitting in the roast chair, somebody's roasting you, that's also you. You know, and it's just, it's pointless. Like, you have to be ready and able to move past that. And when you pursue the truth and trying to figure out, all right, what is really going on? And in this situation for me, it was, look, you know, I put together a really good plan. That was, you know, an awesome start. But, you know, for a leadership role or, you know, a community role, because, you know, that's what a family is. We're a community. You know, we rely on each other. The food in our house is a result of our community coming together and putting the resources together. In this case, you know, putting money together. We do have a garden. We're still working on a lot of those kinks, but you know, eventually growing some of our own resources, our own food. Again, that it's different because of the modern age. You know, you go to the store and you buy something, right? But it still follows that same principle of, you know, of creating resources, trading something for a food and an energy source. And you know, it's not always easy. You know, it's not, and that's the real world. And you know, I've heard all these stories, and you know, we've had moments where, you know, money was a little bit tight and all this stuff, and we had to, you know, get a little creative. And you know, it happens to everyone. And again, just like anything, having it happen less frequently is a result of seeing what happened in that situation. Or either, you know, you could be spending money on things that aren't essential, right? Or you're not bringing in enough money, so you have to find a new way to create more resources. So all of those things is just constant adaptation, again, like what we were building on, to you know, move in a forward progress, so that those types of things hopefully never happen. But the reality is that they do happen. Again, nobody or very, very seldom do you see or hear people sharing that type of stuff and talking about, you know, just the real difficulties that people go through. You know, a lot of times the things that get the most attention, the things that I see with like the most likes, the most views, are the, you know, I made $10,000 in a month off my $3 investment, or, you know, my 4-hour work week, and all these things. You know, they sound really good in theory, But in order to get to those points, it's a lot of work. Sometimes it's a little bit of opportunity and good timing. But we can't fall into those traps of just believing that all of these things are supposed to come super simple, quickly, easily. The old adage that, a fence that goes up fast is most likely going to fall down fast. The one that's built slow and, built to last is going to be there, for all the storms and all the situations that it faces. It's well built. It's taken time, focus, all of those things to make sure that it's put in correctly and will withstand, whatever comes its way. So definitely, as you build your plans, man, learn from me, and I've known this stuff. This is stuff that, for me, I just got fixated and so into trying to create the best possible first opportunity and the first plan that I could, that, I just didn't take that time to develop, a second and a third opportunity. Cops on the road, just hanging out. Don't know what that's about, but just making my way home. So yeah, definitely the taking time to develop those second and third opportunities is it's key, man. It's important, and being able to also share it, with your family and stuff like that, or your friends, or your business partners, keep that open line of communication. A lot of, and that leads me into a very, very important part. Hopefully, you guys are still watching this. Another thing that was very important about, or I should say is very important, because I'm still working out the details. But I can already tell, and I can already feel within myself and within my community, my family, that we're moving in the right direction. We had some big plans, like I said, and they're gonna come together. Absolutely. It's just something that, again, it didn't happen in the sequence that I had premeditated, and not the end of the world. It's still, like I said, still gonna happen, still gonna come together. But I think what was kind of holding us back was that we needed, as a community, as a family, to really build a stronger infrastructure within our family to withstand the moves that are coming next. And we can't take that lightly. It's almost, if you thought about like a business, if a business was to scale too quickly, in theory, everybody would think to themselves, man, that is awesome. I'm going to have all this business, all this opportunity, resources, money, all these things coming to me because my business is scaling, right? That's really good, all that stuff. It can actually be, and a lot of people wish for that. A lot of people want that, and I get it. I'm right there with you. But when you scale too quickly, you don't have the proper infrastructure. What you wish for can actually become the thing that holds you back. It can be the thing that hinders you from holding on to it, to keeping it, If you look at people right now, there's a huge lotto, and all these people are going crazy, buying crazy amount of tickets. That amount of money is almost scary to give to someone. And I know that sounds crazy to hear. People are like, wait a second. I'll know what to do with that money. I get it. I've heard it, and maybe you do. But without the proper infrastructure, without the proper skills of, not even the skills, the knowledge of what to do with that money, it's imperative. Because just as quickly as you got that money, and there's been TV shows on it where they show these people that have won the lottery and it's ruined their lives. I remember one lady in particular, the story or the circumstance, I don't remember that, but I remember this distinctly. She said that she wished she had never purchased that lottery ticket. And I remember thinking to myself, I was probably like 16 years old when I saw that, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, are you serious? And as the story unfolded, it was like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, it ruined their life. You know, the things that matter outside of money, family, friends, you know, a lot of those things go, you know, kind of out the window again when that infrastructure is not in place. Because in a situation like that, where you come into a crazy amount of money like that, people are gonna just want to have conversations with you and talk to you just because of the money. And you know, again, I've shared with you guys, connection and a sense of belonging is so important to us. When you catch on and those people, again, maybe not in the exact same language, but they're explaining that, you know, I can't go anywhere without people wanting something from me. Like, they don't want to just talk to me. They don't want to, you know, hold a conversation, maybe be friends, maybe go to dinner. They want me to pay off their mortgage, or, you know, give them $10,000 or whatever it is, because I came into this, you know, sum of money, you know. Again, people that they haven't spoken to in years, or people that, you know, they rarely, you know, see maybe once or twice a year. It's like, those are the people that are coming out saying, hey, you know, don't you think, you know, we're friends? Like, I would do it for you, right? So you can see how these things can cause issues. But if you have that infrastructure and you have an idea, okay, you know, if we have money come in, like the lottery, I have a resource, or I have a person that I can trust and I can go to, or I have, you know, a plan on how to keep that money or to use that money. Because earning money, or getting money in that case, or winning the lotto, we'll kind of transition into earning money, more of a realistic standpoint. You earn money and you start, you know, advancing in your career, or your, you know, your business, your entrepreneurship starts to really blossom, and you come into that influx of money. Earning money is important. Keeping money is equally important. If you're turning more money over than you're taking in, or you're turning it over just as quickly as you're taking it in, probably a classic case of professional athletes where, you know, they're living this lavish lifestyle while they're still playing, but as soon as they retire, they want to continue that lifestyle, but they can't, because their source of income, their earnings, disappears. It goes away. So learning how to keep it is absolutely important. So earning it, keeping it, and then also investing it. You know, you have to know the proper avenues and the proper ways to make sure that your money continues to go to work for you. It becomes like it almost becomes like an employee, you know? So having an idea and an infrastructure of understanding how to invest, run a business, have employees, right? All of those things are things that would benefit you coming into a source of money. So, you know, even like in relationships, right? The infrastructure. If you sat down and you had a conversation with your significant other, and you said, I had this conversation just yesterday when I was at the fire station, and having a conversation with your significant other and saying, look, this is how we're going to handle conflict, right? If, you know, X, Y, and Z happens, if you start to get that look in your eye, or you're starting to, you know, raise your tone, or whatever it is that your significant other, their body language cues you into the fact that this is not heading in the right, or in a good direction, we say, look, time out. You know, we have a plan. We have a 25-minute rule that you're not allowed to leave. You are not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to come in the room and make gestures. We just go our separate ways for 25 minutes. We check back in with each other in 25 minutes, and we say, are you good? Are you ready to talk? And 100% honesty, if somebody says yes and the other person says no, then you have to respect it and come back 25 minutes, you know? So you understand that there's an infrastructure and there's a way to dealing with these things as they come. It creates a peace within your house, within your business, of understanding. Look, I read a book by Ray Dalio. It's called Principles. Phenomenal book, and pretty much explains all of this stuff in maybe not in that manner, but talking about, you know, setting things up and understanding, look, this is the direction that we're moving in, and this is how we're going to operate. And that's how they've been, man, I can't remember the name of this business. If if you guys know the name of the business, add it in the comments below for the other people watching. I know obviously a very famous and successful investor. Again, wrote a phenomenal book. He went through a bout with a medical setback, medical condition, and it was something that kind of made him, it encouraged him to write that book. He wanted to share what he had learned in all his years of business and scaling his business and making it what it is. But again, you see the infrastructure. His business is one of the most successful businesses, not because of Ray Dalio, not because of the second or third in command or all those things. It's because everybody within that community, within that business, understands the infrastructure of the business and understands that it is that infrastructure that allows the business to maintain its course. So, lessons learned, guys. Just learn from me. We're going through this process again, behind the scenes stuff that I feel we all go through on a daily basis, but it's rarely talked about. It's rarely shown in this manner. Really the true as it's happening, as it's going through. But you can see as this stuff is happening, it's not the end of the world. There is still a way to manage yourself, to see yourself act in a coordinated and orderly fashion to help you get through what it is that you're going through. So despite the fact that my first option is not playing out exactly like it is, and even at this point I am truly like minimally off of my original plan, but again I made it in such fine detail that just that minimal difference I am able to catch. But again, still on a very good path, still on a positive path. I have so many like awesome things that I am incredibly excited and incredibly grateful for the opportunities. And I enjoy this stuff. I love the things that me and my family are going through. We're going through together. Showing that the vulnerability of like, look, yeah, some things I do really good, some things we're gonna have a couple bumps, but how we react to those bumps individually and then as a community, together as a whole, it's life. It's what it's all about, man. Being able to enjoy those moments, even when things aren't going exactly as you had anticipated or desired. It's awesome. So think about your options. I don't regret putting together as detailed of a plan as I did. I literally probably needed to add another 15 minutes to what I was working on and come up with a second or third option. Again, just even a mental checklist of like, okay, if this doesn't happen, what do I need to do? All right, now let's take this all the way down to the absolute worst, absolute case scenario, and we'll also play that card, right? All of those things, again, just kind of prepare you for the worst. You're hoping for the best, but it's all about creativity too. I saw this thing, man. I almost hang my head a little bit. I used to like really like the phrase or whatever it's called. It says dream, struggle, victory. I guess raise your hand if you guys have heard that one before. Dream, struggle, victory. So they're implying that first you dream it, you create this vision, you struggle, you do whatever it is that you have to do, and you bend over backwards, and you sacrifice, you eat ramen noodles, and all these other things, and then you have your victory. You accomplish what it is that you want to go after. And I was, like I said, I was completely on board with that. I was like, heck yeah, preach, tell me, and man, that was like not too long ago, but a really long time ago at the same time, just mentally, how far, we've come. But, definitely dream, create that vision, and then get creative. You don't need to necessarily struggle. You don't need to sacrifice and change your entire life. I guess, will it help? Will it create some type of progress? For sure. I'm not saying that it's, I guess, taking a step back can have a forward benefit, but I'm also kind of sharing with you guys that you don't necessarily always have to do that. You know, if you're able to get creative with your situation, again, come up with some very thorough first, second, and third options and opportunities, and, you know, see where you where it comes together, you know, in the middle. I think you'll be surprised. And then, of course, you share and you enjoy that victory, as they say. So definitely, at first it was kind of like a surprise. You know, I was set in that first option, and I think you guys can relate to that. I truly do. You know, being so attached to that first option and thinking that, you know, this plan's gonna work. Not having that second and third option for some of us could be, you know, the life changer. You know, I mean, not to get dramatic and, you know, oh, now he's just going crazy, but it could really be a life changer. I have one story with that. I went to get into EMT school to get on my certifications. In South Florida, we have to have our EMT, fire, and paramedic certifications to work in any departments around here. So EMT is the first step, and I got rejected from the program, and I was like, oh, it's over. You know, I like completely overreacted, and I went on a vacation. I went on like a cruise. I came back, and somebody had dropped, and I had gone into the program. So it took a couple of my family members and my friends to really like cheer me up on the cruise, but I ended up having a really good time. I said, you know, let me just again, not try to act like I'm in complete control, and just see what options. I had come up with a second plan as I was on my vacation. I was comfortable with it. Obviously, it wasn't my first option, but still a plan, a path for me to take. And as I got back, like I said, it turned out that my first option presented itself back on the table, and so the rest was history. And it ended up playing that ripple would have made a huge difference in the time that I was able to get hired at the fire department that I'm at. I probably would have set me back almost 2 years from being able to get hired at that fire department. And you know, I love where I work. It's a great place. So I'm grateful that you know, whoever dropped out of the class, I don't know if you're watching this, but thank you. So yeah, man, you never know, you know. And as you entertain other options, it's just a way to prepare yourself, you know. And it adds to that flexibility by saying, okay, if this one doesn't work, then I'm not rigid. I'm not stuck on this first plan only. You know, if this plan doesn't work out, I got second and third options, instead of going down the route of saying, oh, first option didn't work, let me go and be, you know, something completely different. You know, instead of a firefighter, let me be a teacher or something. Again, another really good career, but you know, when you want to do one thing, you know, just gotta get creative. All right, so that's it for this video. Put those plans together, you know. And if you guys ever have trouble, you know, putting those plans together, like I've said, I'm available for coaching. You know, putting these things together is something that I enjoy. Like I said, I got in detail with it, and you know, in other areas as well. You know, I help with that stuff, and you know, just another thing that I really truly enjoy doing. So definitely, you can follow me on social media. Instagram and Twitter is at JRS Inspires. Facebook.com/JRS Inspires. My website, probably guessed it, JRSinspires.com. I have my free ebook available for download, available also an audio version. It's titled A Guide to Working with Mentors. If you're thinking about working with a mentor, or already working with a mentor, you want to take it to another level, I share my personal experiences. I've been working with mentors for over 15 years, and you know, it's dramatically changed my life. I've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of sideways, and just valuable information that I put together in that ebook. I made it really quick so that you guys can get the goods, and then get on your way so that you can put it into action, and you know, you can continue to reference it, you know, as you develop new relations, or you grow in your relationship with your mentor. So definitely a really valuable resource. So you can download it again for free at jrsinspires.com. Obviously on here, YouTube, JRS Inspires, and sorry, there was a guy with his feet out the window. I don't know if you guys saw that in the video. Last one is Blog Talk Radio. I get on there. I put a lot of these recordings on there as well, and I do live shows on there as well. You guys can call in with your questions, and we can build on related subject matter and answer your questions for you guys, okay? So until next time, I'm Jonathan signing out. Peace.